This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the mayor.
Yo, it's ODB. This is Our Lifestyle podcast. We're getting ready to jump into the fresh episode, and we want to thank our title sponsors, which includes Custom Car Show Productions. They have 3 key events every year. Orange Beach Invasion every March in Orange Beach, Alabama. Scraping the Coast every June in Biloxi. And Bayou Showdown, which is every November in Slidell, Louisiana. We also want to thank Mini Truck Showdown Family, which includes their event, their flagship event, the first weekend in June 2022 in Las Vegas, Mini Truck Showdown. You can go on Facebook or Instagram for more information. They also have Kern County Showdown, which is going to be in Bakersfield, California, the first weekend in February 2022. Thank you so much. Support those that support the scene, and on to the episode.
Hey, now that's big news right there.
Oh yeah.
I got hose.
Hoses.
I got hose.
Make it hoses, because
hoses.
then you can
Hoses.
remix it. I got hoses, and then you get you get
Oh,
Dusty in the
hoses.
background. He's like, when you say got hoses, he's like, gas hoses in different area codes is. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's, you got to get Dusty to sing kind of the hook, the background, vocals, and then Kim comes in and she's like, hoses. And then Shannon's like, in different area codes is. Something like that, dude.
Bro, you're insane.
Dude.
You're insane.
In the membrane.
You're too much.
Yo. It's Our Lifestyle Podcast, episode 2 3/4. Mike, or if you're there, what does 2 3/4 even mean?
Bro, I don't know what 2 3/4 means, but I got 2 quarters in my pocket.
Yeah, brother, 275. I can't believe Johnny 5, 275. Of course, we did a Johnny 5 episode back in the day. But, dude, Mike, we're coming over the top ropes. Great show. Want to definitely thank Cordy and team over at Mini Truck Showdown / Kern County Showdown. They just had Kern County Showdown this past weekend. We're going to try to link up with them either this week or next week. Talk a little bit about it. He's already announced for next year they're coming back, so that's going to be great. But, of course, one of our other title sponsors, Custom Car Show Production Team. You heard it at the top, dude. We're getting super excited for OBI, also known as what show, Mike?
Orange Beach Invasion. And, dude, Lauren's going to be coming on here real soon as well.
Yeah, we got to talk with her. I know Keg Media, they, of course, team up on the ones and twos, so to speak, and it's going to be a great event. This year, of course, pushed out a little bit, kind of get away from that spring break madness, and I think that's going to even add to the luster of OBI. And you definitely have choices that weekend. There's other shows going on, so we would ask that you gallivant on out with us to one of the premier, I would say, show grounds in the entire country. It's hard to beat that event right there, man.
Oh, it by far is one of those events that I will not miss. Year after year after year. By the time when we get ready to check out on Monday, we're already booking our condo for the following year. So yeah, Orange Beach Invasion is a must. And, Corey Floyd's popping up pictures left and right from last year's. And, let's give Corey Floyd a shout out because, man, if you guys are there and you want some badass pictures taken of your ride, they got the lights on at night down there in the venue, the Ferris wheel in the background. It is just, if you haven't been there, you have to check out Corey Floyd Photography. Check out his pictures from Orange Beach Invasion. You don't want to miss. There's some of the best night pictures at any show ever. Yeah,
and get with them and have it, book a quick session. You've got those opportunities. Corey Floyd, great dude. Man, if he just would give me the truck, with the topper, you know what I mean? I could rep Topper Gang for him, but I don't think that's going to happen, Mike.
No, I don't think so either, buddy. Yeah. I don't think so either.
Well, listen, 275, want to thank Chad Loque for coming back on. This one's Difficult Times, Looking Up. That ties into the interview with Chad. We've been talking with him a few months, to kind of get him back on to talk about the run that he had in 2021. But Mike, of course, he won our Truck of the Year. So Ruben and I sit down with him, and that audio will be shortly. The overview of this episode brought to you by Graphics Mafia. Make sure you check out Ryan and who is it, Mike? Ryan and who?
Hey, buddy, Graphic Mafia.
Dude, Graphics with an X Mafia. They're on TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're in Jacksonville. If you need stickers, they can traffic those across state lines to an event. They can do a little bit of design work. They can do wraps. They can do a lot of stuff, but you got to hit them up, graphixmafia.com. Now, Mike, we've been saying this. We've been hinting that we're going to kind of slow down a little bit this year. We're going to have to see how the episodes fall. But this episode, we are planning to have a little bit shorter intro just to keep things fresh. And, just want to say thanks again to Jeremy for coming on last episode. Much love and respect to him. Thank you so much to Tim from Negative Camber, Florida, for lining that up. All we got to say is go back and listen to it. Thanks so much to Jeremy and the team at CarFix. We had an unbelievable last Friday. We'll talk about it just a little bit on this episode. It was great to get together with the other clubs, including Tim from Acro, V6 Scott, petitioner for NC, and it was great. So, Mike, want to just say to the listeners, go back. We got a lot of great feedback. I love talking a little bit of baseball and stuff like that. So it's great to be able to link up with great folks like Jeremy Bumpus in this scene of ours.
Absolutely, bro. I tell you what, checking out the pictures, checking out the videos, it looked like a pretty damn good time you guys had over there.
Oh, yeah. And I certainly concur, and I don't normally change my profile photo, but I did change it. I had one of the guys there. The crew was so awesome. I met a couple of guys. One of the guys' his nickname is Happy. And I said, dude, that's got to be one of the best nicknames, because if you're ever down and your homie calls you and he's like pissed off mood, it's like, dude, how could you be pissed off? Your name is Happy, dude. You know what I'm saying? So he was super fucking cool. He took some photos for us. And, those guys, I mean, the hospitality was unparalleled. So definitely thanks to them. Now, Mike, want to just kind of jump in to the general updates. And this week, let's talk mostly about this week. There's kind of a big sporting event going on. And my pops always told me, rest in peace, Papa Smurf, he always told me about something that many of the listeners probably don't even realize on how this event that's, we can't, I don't know if we can say the name of it because, there's all the copyright stuff. But, there was a ball back in the day, which, was called the Super Ball. And it was one of those crazy bouncy balls. I don't know if you ever had one when you were a kid, the smaller ones. I love those things. But the Super Ball is the reason for this sporting event name from everything I've ever heard or read. And, dude, are you excited for the Super Bowl? We have to say that because we don't want to have, like, our podcast shut down, you know what I mean, for copyright infringement.
Oh, no, absolutely. We definitely don't want it shut down, but at the same time, it's called the Super Bowl, and you are allowed to say it.
Oh,
so
you
it's
are?
okay. Yeah. You're allowed. But at the same time, there's a lot of mini truckers that could care less about the Super Bowl. But, just giving a heads up, Jay, there's also a little car show this weekend. It's called Mobtown Showdown.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's the Super Bowl, but I know DJ Mays is going to be there, and he's going to be on main stage. So make sure you guys stop by, see DJ Mays at Mobtown Showdown this weekend.
Dude, that's awesome, man. It was just the anniversary of me going up a few years ago to the Pittsburgh area, and I went to a package store up there, and it was called G-Town. And I had to take a photo in front of that. I was like, that's some good shit, man.
Hell yeah.
Mobtown, G-Town, you know what I mean? But we don't want to bore you with the whole backstory on SI.com has a great story they dropped 3 years ago. And it's why is it called the Super Bowl? The history behind the NFL Championship Games name. And it goes on to say, Mike, there is a segment that says when trying to decide what to call the game, NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle came up with names like Big One and Pro Bowl, but those, of course, didn't stick. According to Time magazine, Rozelle's suggestion of AFL NFL World Championship Game became the official moniker. However, the Kansas City Chiefs owner Lamar Hunt suggested the term Super Bowl inspired by his son's Super Ball, but the name wasn't used until later. So, dude, I mean, it is true, and that was, of course, a toy. Do you remember the toy manufacturer for the Super Bowl? It was a word and a dash and a letter. It was a four-letter word, a dash, and a letter. It's okay if you don't know. That's not the question for this week. But it was Whammo. Remember Whammo? Dude, Whammo. Oh, jeez. So, I mean, throwing it back.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't remember that, but I thought it was going to be FUCK-U.
Dude. Bro, I was reeling you in on that one. But did you hear for a second the Mike, this is a record. We had you utterly speechless for a second. And, dude, this might be the first and only time that I've ever known you that you were speechless. Like, you literally were like, I don't know. That was awesome, dude.
Had no clue.
No clue. Well, at least you're honest, bro.
Even after you said it, I don't even remember it.
Well, dude, listen, man. Before we go into the trivia with Mike, I'm looking forward to. I am looking forward to the Super Bowl. 56. Super Bowl 56, right? Is it EBGD or Eastbound Get Down, right? That was the show that you guys just had. That's next year. This is Super Bowl 56, right? So
Yeah.
So I know you're a sports fan. I know hopefully you're going to have it on in the household. I'm excited about it, okay? I think the Bengals quarterback, I think he's got some good swagger. You know what I mean? As a young guy, he wins a Heisman. He wins an NCAA championship, right? And now he's vying for a potential, it would be an unbelievable run in a 3-year span, okay? Matt Stafford wasn't my favorite for a long time, Mike, as you know, up in the black and blue division. He was Detroit. Just a year ago, he was signed with the Rams. Now he's playing in their home stadium, vying for a win. Let me just ask you this question. Are you excited about the game?
Bro, I love football, so I am absolutely excited about this. And I actually just came across something today that if you are a fan of The Simpsons and something came across that The Simpsons, this was already like on one of their shows that The Simpsons actually beat LA 31-24. And Homer picked the score, and it was 31-24. And I don't remember exactly when this was, but so it'll be interesting to see if Cincinnati can pull the upset off and beat the Rams. So that the Simpsons, the show, they've come across the stuff before and they were correct.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting to see if this comes out to fruition that the Bengals win. And like I said, they even had the score at 31-24. So this will be interesting. And I would love to see the Bengals be able to win. But at the same time, I really like the whole story behind the Matthew Stafford and his wife, which back in college, they've been together since college. And she was the cheerleader. He was the football, he was the quarterback for Georgia. And they've been together ever since. And I think that's pretty cool. And, they've been through a lot of tough times, obviously playing in Detroit for all those years.
Oh, yeah.
And just listening to their story. So, hey, I wish them nothing but the best. So it'll definitely be interesting to see if they can pull this off.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, here's what I can tell you, just going from a few things I had read. I know the 2021 season, we don't want to lose anyone here because, believe me, we're going to wrap this up quick. But Joe Burrow, who's the QB for the Bengals, 34 TDs, of course, this year. I remember hearing he had 14 picks, which is a crazy ratio for a young quarterback. Over 4,000 yards, 4,600 and something. Over 100, I think, quarterback rating. And, of course, I believe it is his second year because I think he played the year before. But, dude, he's a stud, dude, 25 years old. Kind of a second year. I think he played at LSU. I don't know all the players, like where they come from because I don't follow colleges much. But, dude, February 13th this weekend, I know it's 6:30. If nothing else, I'm going to be tuning in for Dre and all those guys. The last thing I'll say on it is it's pretty cool because Warren G kind of announced on 213, which is the 13th, he's going to be dropping a new single, which is going to, I think, tie in to, obviously, 213 with Snoop, Warren G, and Nate Dogg. Snoop's kind of announced a new Eastsider album. Dre's announced a new album. You know, they're talking about it's going to be this Aftermath takeover. Now, not Mike, not the crew that you run with. You know what I mean? Because you guys have already taken over, right? But the Aftermath Entertainment takeover, I think, is really going to be full-fledged. I mean, and it's smart, right? I mean, you want to ride the wave. There's going to be no bigger stage, so to speak, than the Super Bowl. So we've already seen the streaming numbers up from like Tupac and Dre and Eminem and some just unprecedented numbers. So I'm excited about that at least, you know, the halftime. And I don't even drink soda, but, you know, Pepsi's bringing the heat, dog.
Dude, this one is got to be hands down probably going to be one of the best, I say the best, Super Bowl halftimes ever. I'm looking forward to this one big time.
Real deal. Now, we do want to remind everyone that we're going to be at Lone Star Throwdown just in a couple of weeks, last weekend in the month of February. And make sure you come out to Conroe. If you haven't book a flight, and stop by the Garage Gear Clothing booth. Let them know that Our Lifestyle, the podcast, sent you. You never know. Crystal and team might just hook you up. They're great kinfolk. They'll be under the big setup over there. I don't know what you call it. It's not even a tent. It's like a big, you know, like structure. Pavilion. There you go. And Garage Gear Clothing, of course, they offer free shipping. If you can't make it out, go to garagegearclothing.com. So, Mike, dude, now is the time, dude. All right, players, you got to lock in, right? You getting worried about the trivia for Mike?
No, not at all, brother. I'm ready.
Okay, players, now it's time to get serious.
All righty, man. So, dude, let me see if I got this right. Okay, so this one is a music one, right? I'm going to give you that hint. And it's not 21 questions. It's just one question this week, okay? But I want to make sure everybody kind of feels old here because, you know, many of us listen to this album. We still listen to these jams. I know you and Shannon have these on your playlist. I've seen them, okay?
Oh.
But February 6th of 2003, dude, literally, we feel old now. 19 years ago, this album came out, okay? And it features a line in one of the famous songs. This isn't me saying this to Mike, okay? This is the quote from the song, the bars. I love you like a fat kid love cake. You know my style. I say anything to make you smile, okay? I wasn't going to go the second line. I was going to stop at the first one. I love you like a fat kid love cake, okay? So there's an album. Think about it. It's not 20 years ago. It's 19 years ago. It was this week. It's a blockbuster album. I can't give you any more hints, dude. I really can't. And again, I'm not asking you 21 questions. I've been wanting to link it up, you know, kind of ratchet it up, but not this week, dude. It's a Super Bowl week.
Yeah, all right, but can you just throw one more? I just need one more.
Okay.
Biggie, give me one more chance.
Biggie, juicy. But here's the thing. He really, in my opinion, should be on stage. Maybe he'll make a guest appearance. I don't know. He's put music kind of on the back burner, and he's been so successful in the TV stuff. Okay, I don't watch the shows. I know there's like Power and, you know, all these different things he's going after. He wants the power. You know, remember that song back in the day, Power, by Snap? Was it Snap? But, you know, really to me, he should be on stage with this ensemble, even if it's a quick cameo. I mean, dude, if they don't bring him out, something's wrong. But, dude, can you believe it was 19 years ago that his debut studio album dropped?
Wow.
And he was trying to collect the money, but he didn't want to he didn't want to go out. You know what I mean?
Okay. So have you given me another hint yet, or are you just mumbling on?
Dude, those are all the hints, bro. I don't, you know.
All right. Answer me this. Is this performer on a, well, wait a minute. Is his wife a very beautiful woman with blonde hair?
I don't think he's married.
Oh, he's not married. Oh, okay. See, I thought he had a wife named Coco, but okay.
Yeah. I see where you're going, but you know, I mean, it's kind of like half of a dollar. You know what I'm saying? I'm just.
Oh,
you know.
Oh, okay. So I guess that guess wasn't right then, huh? Half of a dollar. Yeah. Okay. Well, see, answer me this. So did this guy come out with a energy drink, and then they turned around and bought this energy drink from him, this company.
I can't confirm that, but I don't know how you know this stuff.
Can't confirm or deny.
I can't deny. Can't deny. I
See,
can't deny it. I'm a straight rider. You don't want. It's not that. It's not that guy though.
It's not that guy though. No, it's not that guy. But wait. So is this guy? Is it sweet or is it unsweet?
I think it's sweet.
You think it's sweet? Well, I mean, because when you say sweet or unsweet, I'm talking about tea,
right?
But but
yeah,
it's not.
It's
not that guy though. It's not that guy.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, there's not many people in the world that could be lucky enough to have someone like Coco by their side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're into that kind of thing, like
No. Yeah.
Women and stuff.
And so, anyways, because I like my cocoa with cream. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just trying to throw you for a complete loop here, because as soon as you said, a fat boy, likes cake, I knew exactly who you're talking about.
Because that's part of your MO. You drop those bars when I've heard you when you hit the club when Shannon's not around. Like I've seen you, like dude, going.
Yeah, something about it's your birthday. It's your birthday,
right? See, and then I remember when you're in the club, you get crazy.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So this guy, this rapper, 19 years ago, which I cannot believe it's been that long already, Mr. 50 cents, half a dollar, make your mama holla. Dude, it's 50 cents, homie.
Yeah, get rich or die trying, and dude, you got it. And believe it or not, that's like one of the coolest, I think, the coolest, great album name. Obviously, they really marketed that one, and I read something the other day that said that when the A&R folks for the album kind of like figuring out how it's all going to go and the strategy and all that, it's what they used to do with albums. They did like a coin flip because they didn't know, which single was going to be the first one. And I think they picked wisely with In Da Club. That was released January 7th of 2003. 21 Questions, which of course that came out in March, but it was followed by Many Men with Wish Death, and then PIMP and If I Can't. Like, dude, that album, like, you can put it on. Dre and M produced it. It's fire, bro. Fire. So good job, Mike. I mean, we're gonna give you a half a tick mark because you got the artist name but not the album name. But I think that's fair.
No problem.
See, you're a team player, bro.
Hey, I'm here for the team. I'm here for the Airhead Nation, brother.
Dude, when Aftermath, they called me this week and they go, "Hey, we just want to kind of check in. Like, we know you talk to Mike sometimes. Everything cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, everything's cool. Keep them. Don't. They said there's kind of like a 90-day grace period, and they kind of said they were looking to flip a coin or something. I said, dude, I'd keep them, man. So, but
well, I appreciate that.
Thanks for playing along, Mike. Definitely. Want to thank, Southeast Mini Nats. We're going to be out there very soon. We're trying to kind of collect our thoughts. We talked to Asphalt Army, Tony, down at EBGD, Eastbound Get Down, and, we're trying to formulate some of the VIP deals and what we're going to do. So, thanks to Southeast Mini Nats for allowing us. You mentioned it last week. Of course, All Time Low magazine, Mike. We're getting excited for that to print. And I do understand there's going to be a lot of show coverage in there, so I got 2 thumbs up ready for that one, man.
Oh, absolutely. Look forward to that, and look forward to the good times that are definitely going to be had for sure.
Let the good times roll. And really, from a rest of the perspective, we're just going to cut this one a little shorter just because, dude, we got the pedal stomped, and we can do, we're on cruise control a little bit, and we have the opportunity to make, our own choices, right? Because this is the podcast that we produce. We want to thank Joey at Get Decked. If you want to put your car or truck or maybe some smut, I mean, it can't be copyrighted material from what I heard, but you can get with Joey at Get Decked. And Mike, he can lay down some graphics on a deck, can he?
Bro, and I'm telling you right now, you promoters, if you guys, if you guys are smart, get with Joey, because he can make you guys artwork come out pretty magical and put some on some skate decks. And you will not be disappointed for sure.
No doubt. And then lastly, want to thank Ron over at Hammered Weekend Wear. We tell you time and time again, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better brand out there that launches every 2 months. You got the T-shirt subscription, the only one in the industry that's offering that. Flannels, flip-flops, you name it. Of course, Hank's on board throwing extra stuff into the bag, only if you put OLP in the notes, right, for your orders. Wait, Mike, it's HAMMER what?
T.com.
And cop some merch and add OLP to the notes. Dude, Mike, all I can say is next week we'll have some more banter. We have a lot to talk about. We do have some things that are kind of piling up, but I know that we're going to be at, you mentioned the local show this weekend that we're going to be at for autism. It's $30, I think, day of, and I think it's for a great cause. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area and you're hearing this on Friday, please think about coming on out. It's at the OCC Roadhouse Cafe, Mike. Do you think Pat Swayze, rest in peace, that you could maybe do some kicks for us there if you show up?
Oh, bro, we just got to find the girl. I just want to find the girl that can do the scene when the chick was up on stage. That's what I want to find.
Dude, I love it, bro. Bring your mullets, bring your cut off, flannel deals. Let's make it happen. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. And Mike, dude, I appreciate you, bro. You and Shannon shipping out all those orders, ourlifestylepodcast.com. The aluminum signs are out there. We're going to have the skate decks up real soon. And can't thank you enough, Mike.
Absolutely, brother. You guys take care. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and get out there to a show, man. Support the show, support the scene, and we look forward to seeing you guys at a show, soon.
Real deal. We're going to link up now with Matt Weathers, so we didn't get a chance to run that audio last week. Then we'll roll into the audio with Chad Loque, Difficult Times, Looking Up, and then, of course, Riggedy Ruben's in the house. Mike, have a safe weekend, doggy. And go Super Bowl. Peace out.
Go Bengals.
Hey, as I mentioned, we're going to roll into Matt Weathers here, but I do want to mention at the very beginning of this episode, Mike and I had a little bit of crazy banter going on. Listen all the way through to the end, and I'll go ahead and include some of that other banter so it will make sense why we were singing about hoses and different area codes and some regulators. But, dude, we got a regulator on this episode. Regulators mount up. We got Matt Weathers. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Hey, we see you east to west, north to south. We've seen you so many places, and we always have a good time hanging out. You've been on before. And I think my favorite character that Matt Weathers that you are is the Santa Claus that you've allegedly dressed up as one time or a couple times.
Yeah, once. They showed up there at work this year too, and they were pretty impressed with that.
they didn't tackle old Saint Nick. That's a good thing because in Philadelphia that time they threw snowballs at old Saint Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. The office people were more impressed that I wore the Santa Claus outfit all day.
Dude, you are a warrior, man. I had hinted earlier that we were going to have you on last week, but here was the unique thing. We've got foot soldiers all over and just great folks from the scene, and I thought it was interesting because you live in Washington, but talk to us a little bit. You decided this year to make the trek to the Grand National Roadster Show, GNRS. The famous show. I recently watched some of the footage from Lowrider Magazine, right? They did a kind of a, not a crazy video, but just kind of showed some of the stuff. Talk to us a little bit about your trip down there. How did that go? And then how was the event?
Well, I had plans to go down the weekend before and do the Nuys New Year's party, but I got sick there at the first of the month, and it was so I couldn't justify taking the time off. So and I didn't really plan on having anybody go with me just because of the fact that the way I was doing it, I was going to fly home and then fly back down and stuff. So it kind of started with, I saw Ron Perkins there. He posted up that he was on his way home from Eastbound Get Down. And I don't remember what he put on there, but I posted that I go, get some rest. I'll be by Thursday to pick you up. And he was like, where are we going? And I said, just to what the hell? I don't even remember what I said now, but something smart ass. I didn't tell him, but I called him and I said, I'm going to the Grand National Roadster Show. I go, you want to go with? I'll pick you up. And he's like, oh man, I've been gone. I got all this hammered stuff to do, and I'm like, screw that hammered stuff. It'll be there when you get back. Come on, let's go. And he dogged me. So anyway, I just had to give him a little hard time about that. So, but I guess the hammered thing comes first all the time. So
You can't leave Hank alone. You know what I mean? Because if he could leave as one single if he could leave as one single employee and kind of trust him, but you know him, man, he'll be like it'll be one shirt order at hammeredweekendwear.com. Then it'll turn into like him giving away like $50 in merch, and he just can't keep that going.
be going belly up before he knows it. So.
Yeah.
So I just got up early Thursday morning and I shot down, and I stopped in east of Salem at your Severed Brothers Donnie's place there, Solo Customs, and did a little BSing with him and hung out with him for a minute, and then I headed on down, and I drove down, and I got into the LA Basin basically Friday morning, and went over to Nuys. Well, actually, I better back up. I actually went into Whittier and not having the address. I was trying to figure out if I could drive right to where Trader's Trucks used to be.
Oh, right. Yeah, Traders.
My plan was to take a picture of the building and put it up and see if anybody knew what it was.
Yeah.
You know, but things have changed so much, and God, it's been like 20 years since I've been down there. And I couldn't really figure out where I was at and stuff. I was about half lost, so I had to Google my way out of there. Then I took off and went over to Norwalk there to the Moon Eyes thing. And it was kind of funny because there was a bunch of guys from overseas. I'm not really sure what the language was. And I was talking with them and stuff, and they were there for the Grand National Roadster Show, you know, and that had to do Moon and stuff. But I stopped and I had to pick up some stuff there. So did that, and then went and headed for the Grand National Roadster Show. And Friday was definitely the day to be there for if you want to take pictures. And I made Friday kind of the day to go through and just take pictures of everything as much as possible with as little people there and stuff, and that you could, you know, which made it nice. And then I figured I'd use Saturday just to go look at cars. So
yeah, gallivant around, you know. And let me ask you this: Big Oak's garage, the Engaged Media booth was near them at SEMA, and Big Oak garage. They our friend Jake works there now. He rendered by Thor, right? And we've talked to him before and whatnot. But they had brought out a car that I saw, the green.
Willys, yes.
Yes, yeah, and that was owned by a guy named Dan Duffy. Was that thing insane to see in person?
Oh, it was. Actually, no. I'm thinking of Tin Man's garage, the 36. Right. No, Dan Duffy's was that 61 Impala.
Yes.
That thing was over the top. And that was in the run for the Al Snokler, I think, or however you say the guy's name, award, which was pretty crazy. But yeah, that car was insane. I mean, it was nice, really nice. Yeah, I think I took quite a few pictures of it.
Yeah, which was crazy. And then, of course, you know, you have a lot of stuff kind of scattered throughout the videos I saw, the different little areas. But one that really just, you know, and I don't want to stop your flow here, but I did want to just bring up one other car, like Ernie Macias, obviously, rest in peace. You know, to see his car there was probably just unbelievable.
It was, and I wish I would have taken more pictures of it. And I did walk around it, and look at it, and it is a really nice car. And I didn't when I first saw it, I didn't realize it was his. And then after Friday night, I went back and to the hotel, and I looked it up, and I found pictures. I was like, yeah. And so then I went back and I looked at it some more, but I didn't take pictures Saturday when I was looking at it and stuff. But my biggest thing going down was I wanted to see all the cars from Hot VW magazine. Being an old Volkswagen guy, that was the thing that I had to go see. And it was so cool seeing cars that I guess I'd say shaped me in the Volkswagen scene when I was back in high school, and I had my square back and stuff, and the cars in like the pink and silver square back called Suicidal Tendency. When that thing came out on the cover, I was like in love with that, and it was, I don't know, I want to say it was a few months after that. That's when I pulled mine in the garage and I chopped the post out between the two back windows and started customizing it and stuff, you know, and it was downhill from there. But yeah, it was, and sadly, that was a nice squareback I had, but I just destroyed it.
Yeah.
So
like many, when you're younger, that shit happens. Let's be honest.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know. That was a cool car, and what was really cool about that was the pink squareback that is called Tecto, and it's called Tecto 2 because it's a remake of the original one. When that came out on the cover back in 80, because I can't remember, I want to say it was 86. When that came on the cover, the night before that magazine was on the newsstand, I painted my squareback that same color pink.
Really?
And so, yeah, and it came out, and I left there, got to my car, and I stopped at an AMPM by the house, and they were putting the magazine out. And I was pissed just because of the fact that everybody's going to think I painted mine to match his, Yeah. And what was cool was I met Bill Schwimmer is his name. Bill Schwimmer, the guy that originally owned the original one. And we talked about it, and I told him the story, and he laughed, He was pretty cool. We sat and BS'd about it a little bit and stuff, and the whole car thing. It was cool to meet up with him. But, yeah, Friday night I met up with Ruben and Chris. I ran into them, got to BS with them for a little while, which was cool. Hadn't seen Ruben in a while, or Chris.
Yep.
So I sat there, got to talk with them, and they were kind of on the mad dash through all the things, looking at stuff too, since they weren't going to come Saturday. So, but yeah, it was. I mean, and then the cars just over the top and stuff, and yeah, like I said, being an old Volkswagen guy, I was really impressed to see that one of the top awards. Not only did you have one bug in there competing for it, but you had two, that were super, super nice cars. So I'm glad I went. I can't wait to go next year.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. Now, you obviously, I would encourage folks, if you want to see, we'll be posting some of the photos, a few that Matt shares with us. You can go on Grand National Roadster Show has an official Instagram. You can look at the photos they're tagged in. A lot of folks will use the hashtag GNRS for Grand National Roadster Show, right, for 2022. But then Lowrider Magazine, they exist in the digital space, right, on YouTube. They did, Joe did a video that was, nothing crazy over the top, just kind of a good walkthrough and then a good message at the end that he shared. But now I know you're not a guy just to go back to the hotel, right? So talk to us a little bit about, did you make it over to, is it Van Nuys or Whittier and some of those places?
I did Van Nuys on Saturday night. Friday night, I did go back to the hotel because by the time I got a hotel and everything, because I was totally pretty much just winging it, Yeah. I didn't have reservations or nothing. I didn't even know where I was going to stay. And then I stayed at the Grand National Roadster Show Friday night. I was there until it was about 8:30 before I got out of there. And so then I had to go hunt down a hotel. But, and I was pretty burned out because I'd only slept a few hours on the way down.
Yep.
So, but yeah, then I got up Saturday morning. And that was another reason I wanted to get up early Saturday morning. I got up early Saturday morning and shot down to Huntington Beach down there to Donuts, which is where the donut derelicts are at.
Oh, yeah.
And I got, and I was thinking, if I get there about 7 o'clock or so, it'd be cool. There'd be lots of cars there. There was quite a few cars that people were leaving and stuff. And I'm like, so I'm running around trying to take pictures and check out cars and stuff. And hell, by 8 o'clock, everybody was gone, and I'm like, well, that sucks, And I got talking to a guy who, as I was leaving, doesn't live that far from there. And he's like, oh, yeah, about 4:30 in the morning, I start hearing everybody come by and stuff. He's like, the ideal time to be here is about between 5:30 and 6:30. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, everybody comes in, and he goes, they hang out for a while and leave. And I'm like, oh, so stop in and have a coffee and a donut and blow out here. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, well, that sucks because, and he's like, yeah, he goes, there's a lot of cars here early in the morning, and so I got a lot of pictures of some pretty cool stuff. There was that one Lincoln there that I knew you'd probably like, the light blue one that was really nice.
Yep.
I did it. And then there was an early 70s Datsun there, little red one that I took one picture of, and there was something that was driving by that I wanted to grab a picture of before they left, and I turned back around and the Datsun was gone. Mm-hmm. But that thing, was pristine. Like, I don't think it had ever been restored or anything. It was just really a nice. I got one picture of it that I posted up. That it was really a nice little Datsun pickup. But yeah, that was kind of cool to go over there. Donuts weren't bad either, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, the fat kid bill for sure. You know.
Yeah, and one thing I learned from Joe from watching the Lowrider video was that the show, I think, even though it's been around a long time, I think it's kind of technically changed, you know, the venues, and so I think he said this version of it has been like 8 years, I think, right? Because he said something about Oakland and that type of thing. And it's cool though that the lineage, right, the history has continued on all these years.
Yeah. It started out in Oakland, if I remember right. It was there for quite a while, and then it moved down to California, down to the Pomona there, and it's a big thing. I mean, Saturday morning when I got there about noon Saturday, and the amount of cars outside of the buildings and stuff. And I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, there's 6 buildings full of cars, and then the cars outside there, and just there's some pretty incredible stuff that just drives in for the day. You know that. Yeah, it's definitely eye candy car overload to go to that. It's just, I mean, it's amazing the amount of stuff. Then it was cool. I met up with a bunch of the Relaxed people that were down there. They had kind of a meet and greet with the Relaxed gang, and I met up with a few people. Ran into Ryan Anderson out of Oregon, and I saw Juan. And trying to think of who else I ran into. There was a few people, and then I ran into old Bob Haas and sat and talked to him for a little bit, and kind of laughed about the old Resolution show, the 50th anniversary we planning.
Yeah,
so,
Bob Hayes. Yep,
Bob Hayes. Yeah, and so it was cool. I sat and talked to him for a while, and so guess you need to start planning that for 26 to come for the 50th reunion.
Yeah, very cool. And you know, I think like on their site, what I found is like it's technically was like the 72nd year, once known as the Oakland Roadster Show. It's the longest running indoor car show in the world. So what's cool is the lowrider guys like Joe and whatnot, you know, they know kind of all the ins and outs. But I mean, really, you know, let's be honest. I mean, 70 plus years. I mean, it's a damn good, crazy run. And what I thought was cool was like with Ernie, rest in peace, you know, they were invited about 10 years ago. I had posted a photo recently that I had planned to post, and it was the anniversary of the was stock and then not stock, that Mitsubishi, that it was there. And then somebody, you know, chimed in and said, hey, yeah, his car, of course, I knew it was going to be there, which I thought was amazing. When I wanted to ask you, though, so I jumped kind of back off topic there for a second, but I wanted to go back to like some of the cruising that you saw, right? Or any of the stuff you saw in the city, whether it was at night with the lowrider guys or some of the stuff with the donuts. Like
working my way that way.
Yeah. Now, how was all that?
Well, that was great. I reached out to a couple of different lowrider photographers that I'd found on Instagram. One was Lowrider Syndicate, and the other one was, I can't even remember what the other one is. But they, the Lowrider Syndicate, they were the one that pointed me to this, and he told me it was for a birthday and for the birthday and something for the car. It's actually, I can't remember what it was, a 59 Impala, if I remember right, that was kind of being debuted out there and stuff, and it's that's black one with the red inset on the striping and stuff, and that's really a bitchin' car.
Oh yeah.
He told me, he goes, yeah, it'll be pretty hot, and then they weren't wanting to make an announcement out on the, you know, public on the internet. You had to basically ask where this was going to, or where it was at to find out where they were going to be, you know, and it was definitely crazy. I mean, hats off to the lowrider guys, because I couldn't believe how many of these guys are coming in with full show cars on back of rollback trucks, and Van Nuys is 4 lane. Well, actually, it's 6 lanes in places of streets, and they just stop right in the middle of traffic. They don't care what's going on and offload their cars, you know. And I was just like, holy cow. But yeah, and there was hundreds of lowriders there. They were parked everywhere, and I don't even think I took half the pictures that I took of the cars, and I bet I took close to 500 pictures of just lowrider stuff,
Yep.
on Saturday when I was out there, and it was funny because when they first started cruising, I first got there and cars were starting to show up and cruise and stuff. The cops came in and set up a DWI checkpoint right in the middle of where everybody was cruising. So they just kind of moved the cruising down the street further, and then everybody was out there cruising and stuff. But it was about 10 o'clock or so. It was really getting hopping out there, and there was so many cars cruising, and traffic was stop and go, and everybody was setting. And then the cops came in and started kind of taking block by block. And when it got down to like a 3-block area that everybody was like setting in and stuff and cruising and stuff, and then the helicopters out with the night sun shining on everybody, and that's when I was like, I think it might be time to get the hell out of here. So
yeah, and you realize now why. And for the listeners that don't know, we had Joey on from the Majestics, right? But there's the long term. Back in the day, they had the bumper sticker, and there's a hashtag, and I still use it today. Although I'm not a hardcore lowrider guy, I love lowriders, but lowriding with an ing, lowriding is not a crime, right? Because typically we kind of experienced something similar. Not to that extent, but on the New Year's Day cruise, the cut shop here locally, they have a cruise, and it was like everybody's hanging out, no trouble, whatever. Police rolled through, and nothing against the police in general, right? I mean, it's just, sometimes there's a disturbance, you got a Karen or a Ken that calls, whatever. And of course they go, hey, you got to go, right? But it does go to show you how crazy it can get.
Well, there was guys out there, and I've seen videos now of it, and I wasn't that far up into traffic because I was still taking pictures, but they were shutting down intersections, and guys were hopping their cars and three-wheeling and stuff, and then when it started kind of getting pushed together, it seemed like the guys on their Harleys and stuff were coming out and just doing massive smoke shows out there and stuff, and it was starting to really get crazy and stuff. But I couldn't believe how many people were on the side of the street barbecuing, and yeah, it was just like a total party. In fact, I had tacos I was sitting and talking to the guy, and his wife offered me tacos, so I was standing there eating tacos with some people, and it was awesome.
I was hoping that we were going to hear some stories like maybe you went over to the corner, the next road down, and like got into it like a sideshow, where they do the donuts in the part in the middle of the intersection, and then I could have thought like maybe Hank had been like training you to like start dancing in between the cars, because now we wouldn't want you to get hit, but we know Ruben would have posted the video, Ruben Artiaga, because he posts all that crazy shit.
Oh, I know.
The dancing in the smoke. But
it was funny because a lot of the times it was easier for me to go out in the middle of traffic and take pictures of the car than it was to get a picture from the sidewalk. And so I was out, going out in the middle of the street and taking pictures, and I had people like, "You're going to get hit," and my typical response when somebody says, "Well, it's not the first time, so it'll be all right."
Yeah, yeah. If we can get you just doing like the gangsta dance, I'll call it that, because we don't want to take sides on this podcast, blue or red. It would have been better. It would have been better if I would have been in the Santa suit out there taking pictures. Yeah,
so
yeah. You got someone like exactly. You got someone like Hank that might be able. He has a blood and a Crip tattoo. And you can't always do that. And then you got some guys that got NC and ST tattoos. But you got to be really patched in to do that. So we don't want to take sides here. But
yeah. So I it was about midnight. I got back to the hotel Saturday night, and I was like, I kind of caught wind of that there was a mini truck gathering at a park in the Ontario area or something, and I totally screwed up, and I should have reached out to Frank from Custom Life, and I didn't, because I knew he would have known. But I kind of was like looking through the post, and I just decided I'm going to get up early in the morning and head for home. And so, which I did. I just got up in the morning and
Yeah, you
decided to
peeled
just-
out. You know, you bellowed, you got the smoke going, you did a quick burnout in the intersection, and you peeled out of town.
Yeah, in the old Spark, we took her out and powered down and headed for home.
Dude, they showed a video. I was looking at like some of the live footage on the local news station, and I could have been wrong. I'm pretty sure I saw your car doing donuts, and then you peeled out of town, and I was like, man, that's Matt right there. And I was like, but you know, we wouldn't turn you in, of course. You know, we were cheering you on. You know, but
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had the car now almost 6 months, and it's got one of them CTV transmissions, which is basically a centrifugal clutch. And I have tried to do burnouts with it, and it just does not do it.
Yeah.
The transmission does not allow it.
Yeah, and we can thank, I mean, I hate to keep coming back to Hank, but he's invented a lot of things. We can thank him because, you know, in his wild days, like in the 70s, you know, he would borrow people's cars and go nuts. So some of this stuff is, you know, it's coming down through the ranks, you know, to be able to you know, to keep the crazies like you and, I mean, like Hank, you know, like, you know, Abe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of remember hitting some railroad tracks in somebody's borrowing just to see how far we could fly in it.
Right.
You know, when I was in high school, stuff like that. You know,
Exactly.
and just stupid stuff. That or go buy a $50 car and take it to the river and go rooting it. You know, and just destroy it at the river.
Dude.
So. There was many cars that ended up at the river.
Yeah, you know, we got to get our big homie and supporter Craig Braid back on. You know, he's up from your way, and I know there's got to be a connection to DB Cooper. You know what I'm saying? I see the resemblance. You know, so but I don't want to out anyone. You know, I mean, I don't want people knocking on his door. You know, Craig's like, hey man, I'm just a mini trucker. You know, but I swear, I mean, you know about the guy DB Cooper up your way.
Oh yeah, DB Cooper is a Northwest legend.
Yeah, the what I've heard is like it's either you, Craig Braid, or Hank. One of you guys is kin to this guy.
I'm leaning on Hank because I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Well, dude,
so
boy, I didn't say the jumper. I said kin to him because, dude, I've seen you with those same glasses on, and I swear that could have been, you know, it could have been your uncle. I don't know.
Well, maybe that's why I don't wear my hooded sweatshirt up. You know.
Yeah, true. Well, Matt, listen, dude, it's been cool talking to you a little bit about gallivanting down to the Grand National Roadster Show. You're definitely keeping up with Mike, and then of course, you know, some of your shenanigans, dude. Anything else you got to share before we roll into Chad Loque, dude? Everybody's waiting for Chad Loque. We're named this one Difficult Times, but they're definitely looking up, and that'll make sense, you know, hearing all the great stuff from Chad.
No, I don't really have a whole lot other than, you know, I hope some of the guys out of the West Coast down south make it up this year for the Perfect Poises Northwest Cruise.
Yes.
Which, because that is actually it. I mean, you're in God's country making the loop out here, but yeah, it's a good cruise, and then you know, relaxed. The Awakening's kind of on the fence. They did make an announcement here the first of the week, and you know, but I don't know how far that's gone. You know, if people know about that or not, and I'll leave it at that. So
yeah, it looks like they were gonna for this year. It wasn't gonna happen. Is the intel that I had and some of the stuff I saw. Yeah. So, but we are excited to talk a little bit about Cruise to the Pines as well as the cruise in the Northwest. And I know one of the homies had reached out to talk about Cruise to the Pines, and we'll do that this year and try to promote that stuff as much as possible. But, you know, we always encourage people, you know, get out there and go to the shows because it is important. I mean, you never know, but a show could go away in a poof. So, you know. Yeah,
exactly. You know, and the cool thing about the Northwest Cruise is it's all on private property at a private lake, you know, and it's the people that own it encourage everybody to come out and camp and stuff, and yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah,
so
for real,
I like it because it's about 7 miles from the house.
Dude,
so
dude, don't rub it in. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Mike's talking about driving. He wants to fly to Key West, right, and go to the southernmost tip. I don't know why he's talking about that, but he wants to go just to the tip, apparently, all the way down. But then he wants to drive. He said he wants to drive to that show. Then he's going to drive to Alaska. Then he said he wants to swim across the Bering Strait. And I was like, Mike, dude, I mean, listen, there's only one guy. Let's be honest. I know they could do that as Hank. So, let's just throw that out there.
When I first graduated from high school, I took a job with a company that I traveled, and I was pretty fortunate in I got to go to most northeastern tip, most southern eastern tip, western eastern tip, and I live here in the Northwest, so I've been to all four. I can say I've been to all four corners of the United States. So
wow, yeah, just the tip for a minute though, right?
Yeah, just the tip, but
right.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that I drive most of that. I'd rather drive than fly. So
yeah, no, I don't blame you. Well, listen,
I'm not flying, but I just rather drive. So
yep. Well, listen, dude, we thank you for coming on.
Not a problem.
We appreciate you being a foot soldier out there and representing the scene as much as you do, more importantly than anything else. But on top of that, thanks for being a supporter, a listener, and just a good homie. You know what I mean?
And I get to listen. I get to talk to my favorite Florida man.
Dude, I know some secrets have to stay, but maybe on the anniversary of that fist fight that Hank and I got into last year, that altercation, we might have to share some of the photos. You know what I mean? Or do a whole podcast about it. But some people were there and they saw the firsthand. The fist flying.
Hey, I do have one other thing I need to say.
Okay.
I gotta give my daughter Kaylee. It's her 20th birthday today.
Oh,
so
let's give a big happy Bizorn Day from ODB and the entire Airhead Nation. And listen, tell her she's got one more year of not having to worry about all the adult problems in the world. So just tell her to kick back, relax, shoot some b-ball outside of the school. Because, if a couple of guys come around and they're acting up, she might get shipped to Bel Air. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, dude, we sincerely appreciate you, brother. We'll see you very soon at Lone Star Throwdown, I believe.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do that this year. I kind of wanted to, but I think I'm going to curtail a lot of shows this year just because I am throwing money at a couple projects that I'd really like to see get done here pretty soon.
No problem, bro. We'll see you soon, and we're going to get crazier than we ever have, dude. All legal, not illegal.
That's right. Right on.
Be good, man. Hey, have fun tonight with your daughter, and you guys be very nice and fun.
Yeah, stay out of trouble.
All right, brother. We'll see, man. We're going to roll in now to Chad Loque. We want to thank Mini Truck Showdown, Kern County Showdown that just happened, but Mini Truck Showdown is going to be the first weekend in June. We are planning to be out there. We're looking forward to it. And again, thank you to Orange Beach Invasion, one of our title sponsors with Custom Car Show Productions. We will be talking to Lauren soon about OBI, which is the last weekend in March, Orange Beach, Alabama. Matt, we appreciate you, brother. Be good.
Yep, you too. Take it easy, man. Good talking with you.
Yes, sir. We out you. Late. Yo, thank you, Matt, for coming on. We're getting ready to roll into the audio with Chad and Ruben. Thanks so much for these guys coming on. Want to say breaking news earlier this week, midweek, there was an announcement that Snoop Dogg had officially acquired the rights to Death Row Records. Crazy to think. Officially they started in 91. Most of us think back to 92, Nine Deuce. Chronic came out, of course, 30 years ago this year in December. Deep Cover really kind of kicked it off. That song, unfortunately, is not available for streaming because I think it's officially on Solar Records. It was on the Deep Cover soundtrack. So hopefully, we know Snoop's going to do great with ownership, but we got to start seeing the Murder Was the Case soundtrack and so many of these other classics come out for streaming. Death Row Records did a little bit better job with kind of bringing out Pain, which wasn't on the main soundtrack for Above the Rim. A lot of cool stuff, in the future that we can talk about, but there's a lot of shelved albums that Death Row was trying to kind of put out this last year or so, and a lot of it, I think, fell kind of flat. So I have a feeling that we'll hear some more music from Tupac in the future, and I'm so looking forward to the Pepsi halftime show this weekend. I think it's going to be amazing. They're talking about one of the greatest performances of all time from a hip-hop standpoint. But that was breaking news. I wanted to share that. And I want to remind everyone, thank you so much to our title sponsors, including Custom Car Show Productions. Their next event is Orange Beach Invasion last weekend in March. We'll have Lauren on to talk about it soon. Come on out, gallivant down to Orange Beach, Alabama. It's springtime, and it's a beautiful, great venue. And then, oh, by the way, Corey and team are getting ready. First weekend in June, we're going to be out in Las Vegas for Mini Truck Showdown. And Corey's been on before. We'll be talking to him more. Can't thank him enough for all the support. In closing, I want to remind you guys that on our lifestylepodcast.com, we do have a couple of sales. Our original kind of Live Life Topless, which played off of the Sega Genesis Outrun game. Those shirts are on sale while supplies last. And if you want to use the code LST2022, you could pick up your order. You have to attend Lone Star Throwdown, but you can come by the booth. We'll have those orders pulled to the side. We will not ship them, so you don't have to spend the extra cost. But if you want to get in on that sale of the Live Life Topless, the Sega Genesis shirt, and anything else, you can buy it now. Use code LST2022. And again, you come by our booth. We have one of the best spots there, thanks to Lonnie and Radar. And you could pick up your order. So again, you'll eliminate the shipping cost there. So thanks again for all the support. We're going to roll into audio. This is a great interview. And stay with us through the end. We'll put some of the banter that Mike and I had at the very beginning. We'll put the whole little kind of uncut segment so you get a little bit of gist into why we were talking about, regulators and hoses and different area codes. All right, y'all. We got you. Peace. Yo, so as I mentioned here earlier, we got Chad Loque coming back to the podcast, but we got Ruben. And Ruben, thanks so much for helping out and kind of, I know you recently linked up with Chad, and we're like, dude, this is the good time to maybe level set and just touch base with him. But how you doing, Ruben?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well now. I'm doing pretty well. I've been under the weather here for the last couple of weeks, kind of getting over it now, and glad to be back on the podcast. And yeah, we've been playing tag with Chad here, wanting to have him on and stuff. And I guess right now is probably probably the best time than any.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm glad you're feeling better. And Chad, dude, it's always good linking up. Over the years, we've had you on a couple times, and I always love seeing you. Of course, you were at Eastbound Get Down, but dude, how you doing?
Jay, I'm doing good. And dude, I'm just, like I said, dude, it's, the weather's kind of been kind of crappy here, but other than that, man, just been enjoying things, man. Family time most of all. And then, I always love talking to you guys and being on the podcast, man. It's an honor. And Ruben, man, I had such a great time. I have to tell you this. I had such a great time at SEMA with you. But next time I link up with you at SEMA, I tell you this, man, we are not going to keep on with those drinks like we did.
Oh, dude, I somehow I knew this was going to come up. And, again, dude, I had a blast. I'll be honest, there came a point in the time of that night that I don't remember. I don't even remember getting back to my room. But, here I am. I'm being honest. Here I am thinking I only had like 2 drinks the whole night.
Dude, you've been hanging out with Hank too much. You've been hanging out with Hank too much.
I'm sure Hank was there at some point or another that night, man. But no, man, it was a blast. Most definitely one of the funnest SEMAs for myself in a very long time.
Dude, amazing.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I tell you what, Ruben, when it got to the point where you were kind of slurring a little bit, I was like, yeah, he's really, really feeling it. So you know what? I was like, man, let's go to the D-Bar, man, outside right here in Fremont. I was like, I got to get this guy another drink, So, dude, I just kept feeding you drinks. And I think we were like 3 or 4 in. And then we started with the smalls, and then we just went to the talls after that. And I was like, dude, he's really, really feeling it,
Oh, dude, I felt it the next day. I kept on going back to the concession stand at the convention center, just getting Gatorade, just trying to hydrate.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing you the next morning. I think we were trying to link up to get on the bus to do the shuttle. And I remember seeing you sitting in the hotel, and you were just sitting there waiting, man. You were looking, man, your head was down. I walked up, and I was like, Ruben, man, you going to make it this morning? He's like, man, I don't know. I was like, yeah, you had a little bit to drink last night, So.
And I honestly now, I only do that maybe once a year, and that's my week to do it. So. It's all good,
right.
Yeah.
Well, what better way to do it, man, at an event like that,
yeah.
Everyone is there in the scene. It's just great,
Yeah, I had, like I said, I had the blast. Hanging out with Jay and you, of course, and everyone else, and Ron and Chris and it was just great. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Ruben, now for the listeners, now they know like what Hank. I mean, Hank's like 365. I mean, he, like what do they say? A year there's 364 and a quarter days or something. Like Hank loves when it's leap year because he's like, dude, there's an extra day in the year for me to get buzzed out, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh man, that guy is throttled down 24/7.
Yeah, we're just trying to get on his level. But I'll tell you this, I don't know if you've ever been, what's the restaurant you took us to at SEMA? I wanted to go 2 nights in a row. I love that place, Ruben.
That was the Peppermill.
Peppermill, dude, that was a cool place. If you've never been there, you got to check it out, guys. And dude, and what was funny is it wasn't that far from where we were at, but I mean, dude, it was good food.
Yeah, it's literally walking distance from the convention center, and really good food, and the lounge in the back kind of looks like a strip club,
dude.
But
Chad, the lounge in the back, I thought that I was in that they time warped me into Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Like it was
no way, man.
Dude, it was all the mirrors,
you nailed it, dude.
And dude, it was sick. It was good times. So let's jump right in, dude. Ruben had linked up with Chad recently, and it's always good. Like we've kind of said, it's always good linking up with you, Chad. And just this past weekend when we linked up with Jeremy Bumpus, we were able to get a couple of the clubs together, and here we are, repping RA, ST, and NC on one podcast. I love doing it, but what was awesome is, we'll start with this, right? Because we're gonna plug OLP. Tip of the cap to you, man, because we introduced a new award this year to kind of level set. We got the old school mini truck, we got mini truck of the year, and then we got truck of the year. And Mike and Ruben and I and Josh Ellis and some of the crew, we talked so much about like who is it, and it wasn't just my pick. You earned it, and I tell you what, that truck, Ruben alluded, it's been on a freaking tear, dude, and we're so proud of you, homie.
Man, I appreciate it, guys. I really, really appreciate it. It was a rough. I'm going to say it was a cool year. It's one of the best ones I've ever come out with. And towards the end, I'm going to tell you guys, man, I really, really kind of got discouraged towards the end of the year, like before the SEMA thing. And then, man, when SEMA, being invited to bring the truck, and when SEMA hit, it's like, it was a couple weeks, like even with Slamfest, I felt that I was kind of losing touch with the truck, I guess. And I felt like, man, I think I had a good run just in a couple months that I was, out there with the truck. And man, I was losing touch with the truck. And I was like, you know what? When Jim Stewart called me and he gave me that invite, man, with Scorpion and stuff, man, and he hooked me up, and I was like, you know what? I think this is the fire I need to be, just to push more with the truck and to get it out there more and to do things. And, a lot of people kept telling me that, you're patient, you were patient, that whole time building the truck. And, when you got it out there, it was a patience thing with you. You didn't worry about the exposure. You didn't worry about this, or you didn't worry about that. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, you know what, man, I was just glad to be back on the show field. Being off of that show field for a year and a half, even almost 2 years, because I want to say it was like maybe 17 or 18, for Cycnic, the last year's Cycnic is the last time I brought the single cab out. And that's when I hooked up with you, at Jared's. And man, that was a hard thing for me because, man, I got so adapted even with the single cab. It had great exposure. And man, getting out there to the show field and, back to the show field, especially keeping everything under wraps, like no one knew what was going on. And everyone just kept thinking, oh, he's just going to body drop his truck, or he's taking a break. He's going to work on a couple things, change a couple things. And then, man, just to come out that one time to Mini Nats. And boom. I'm going to tell you, I was so freaked out going to Mini Nats, that whole entire ride. I think I got about 7 hours in, truck on the trailer, David DeCorbin, his wife behind me, following me, when we linked up. And I was like, man, I don't really think anybody's going to dig it, and I was really, really nervous, going to that show for the first time after like almost 2 years of not showing, and then, man, just the hit that it did all weekend. I was like, man, you know what? I think I really built something special,
Yeah, you did. And what was cool, because Ruben, when Chad's talking here, it reminded me, like, obviously right before SEMA, we did the SEMA preview. What was cool, and you talked about, And I think we even hit on that, like, it was almost like, wow, like, dude, like how often do you get the time? Or how often do you get the opportunity? And then, remember we were talking, Chad, about how, like, I was like, well, dude, you got to take the time off. And your wife's like, yeah, don't miss out. So, to me, it was like, if you take, mini nats, mid to end of April, and then you add on and you go to SEMA, you're talking like basically a 5-6 months run, right? But, you obviously you went to a lot of shows and stuff like that too. And what I think was interesting, and Ruben, you probably have done this over the years, is like when I talked to Chad, I know there's some shows where, like, you have to just get up and you put the truck on the trailer and you get in the rig and you're rolling solo, but that's the dedication that it takes, because you're kind of going, well, dude, I worked on this truck for all these years, like I want to get it out there, right? So that's a struggle that I sometimes had.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you work on something so much, and you put your heart and soul into it. You're building your dream truck, but you want that reassurance from other people and everyone. Hey, wow, great job, pat on the back. And dude, I know how you feel, Chad. I've been there, bud. And for, like I said, first and foremost, man, you build it for yourself, and it's a total, I don't know, I guess an encouragement to go even farther when you have, the public's, the way the public takes it and embraces it.
Right.
And I think you nailed it, buddy.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you guys too, man, I really, really don't speak enough about this guy, but man, my best friend, Jeremy LeBlanc, with the rodeo, I don't speak enough about this guy. And, behind the scenes, Jeremy has taken a break, I guess you want to call it, the last year. Mm-hmm. And, man, as soon as Jeremy finished that rodeo, my truck sat single cab in his shop, and it sat for like 6 months. And me and Jeremy just came up with this master plan, like what we were going to do, right? And, man, it was just, Jeremy's like, you know what, man, I really want to see you have something really, really cool, and I mean, you really, really deserve it. And, man, whatever it's going to take, I don't care if I need to help you, financially wise, whatever it's going to take, He extended everything to me as far as the use of his shop, mm-hmm. the use of his tools. I was bringing half of my garage over to that shop, and, man, it's like Jeremy came with me to pick up the cab. I bought the cab from Mark Zarate, and, man, I would never forget, man. I was actually on family vacation in Dallas with the wife and the kids. We were at the indoor water park place hotel thing, and, man, I'm laying in bed late that night, and I looked at my wife and I said, Mark Zarate just posted that crew cab for sale, and me and Jeremy's been talking about it. And I said, it's a really, really great price. Mark hooks me up. Bam. I send a message. Hey, man, I got this in PayPal, and I'm going to send it to you. I want that cab. He's like, it's yours, man. So I PayPal him right away. Within 10 minutes of seeing the post, the cab was mine. It was bought. Boom. Jeremy, we drove, I want to say 2:00 in the morning. We left on a Saturday morning. We made a turn and burn, came straight back with the cab, Sunday morning at like 2:30, 3:00 in the morning. We unloaded this thing and we looked at it in the shop, and, man, it was rough. It was beat a lot. The firewall was pulled out. It had dents. The rockers were gone. Everything was basically beat up on it, but it was a good canvas and it was a good experience. Jeremy's like, man, you know what? We're going to rebuild this and we're going to make it better than it could have ever been. And we just started throwing ideas around, and, man, before you knew it, that little whiteboard kept filling up with different things to do, and man, the master plan was there, but for 6 months, almost a year, after owning the cab, I showed the single cab that one last time, and, finally Jeremy calls me. We're both on vacation for the holidays, for Christmas holidays, for like 3 weeks off. Jeremy calls me up Friday morning and says, hey, man, let's get started on your truck. We tore into it, and within 2 weeks, man, we had a full frame built. It was done. The frame was done. Everything was welded up, and we already had fitted the cab on in like 2 weeks. Body mounts welded on, and Jeremy's like, you know what? Here comes the fun part. Let's start doing all the cool stuff now. We got this thing laying exactly like we wanted. We got the suspension under wraps. Everything's good. I mean, I went and got driveline made. Started cutting the harness, extending the harness, extending all the fuel lines, extending all the wiring to the tail lights and fuel pumps and stuff like that. And man, it was a blast. Like, it was the funnest times I was having in the shop with Jeremy for like those 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And then of course, I went back to work, and then I'm like, man, this is never going to get done. I'm working January, February. And then of course, what happens, COVID hits.
Yeah.
And then I was fortunate that I worked for a great company, my daytime job. And my company actually told us, you guys are basically, you're non-essential, so you don't really have to be here. We're going to send you home. We're going to pay you in full, like every single week. And when we need you, we'll call you to come in to do jobs and under these, precautions.
Yep.
So for almost 9 months, I got up every single morning and I went to the shop 7 days a week.
Wow.
And I worked on the truck every single day for either 10, 12, 14 hours, just nonstop. I was just trying to cross everything that I can cross off that whiteboard, and making a punch list. And I would sit sometimes for an hour or 2 hours, and, I would look at everything, and I'm like, okay, let me get on the phone. Let me order this. It'll be here in a couple days. That won't hold me up because I can do this,
Yep.
So, man, Jeremy was back at work, and he would just check in the evenings, and he's like, oh, you need help getting the cab back off. Let's get the cab off. So we'd jack the cab off. We'd move the frame, or we would fabricate this. I'd weld it all up, bolt it all in, do whatever I had to do. And then Jeremy would go about his business, But, I don't speak enough about him. He is my best friend. I mean, I love the guy to death. There's nothing I wouldn't do for that guy,
Yep.
He has helped me basically create my dream truck. And, and it's funny because this 4-door was just something that we had talked about originally. And after building Jeremy's rodeo, I had got bitten by the SUV bug.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so in love with that rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so in love with the rodeo when it was done. And I still am today, because I really think it is a unique vehicle that you just don't see on the show field.
Yeah. There's only been a few of them built, like that style.
Exactly. You go to shows, Ruben, Jay, and you don't see them, So I got bit bad, and I was like, man, do I just want to buy a 4Runner, and leave my truck alone and just start over? And then Jeremy come up with this master plan, like, man, you should just find a 4-door. He said, you got everything you need to build the truck that you need to build. He said, you obviously need 4 doors. You need more room. He said, there aren't a lot of them out there. The ones that are out there, you can make unique. I know you can.
Yep.
So that's what I did, man. As I was building it, I was studying every single 4-door that was built out there. And I was looking at everything that everybody was doing. And I was like, man, everybody's, like the 2 that had the short beds, they got short beds. I was like, I don't want the stubby bed. I want the full bed, Well, everybody that had the full bed, they were shaving the body line off the bed. And I was like, no, I want that body line. Mm-hmm. So that means I got to do something with the back doors or with the cab corners,
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing was, I was like, you know what? I haven't seen single cab corners grafted in to carry that body line. And I said, I also ended up taking a set of front door corners and grafted those into the back doors to match the body line and match all the jam lines, So, and then rebuilding all the inside the jams, rebuilding all the inside the doors to make it look like OEM, like Toyota built it that way, and tip of the cap to David DeCorver, because, man, he came, with the full force, from Florida, 12 weeks in a row, busting. But like, Friday morning, he would show up around 9, 10 o'clock, and, we'd work till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm running for food, for materials, and this and that. And, man, he would just get it. And David did a spectacular job on the truck as far as, the body work. In 12 weeks, we had this thing fully primed and blocked, I want to say at least 5 or 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it was just amazing to see it come together,
Yeah.
But, like I said, I just don't, without some of my camera brothers that pulled at the last minute with me, and I don't give them a lot of credit like I should. And this is the time that I will, because, without a Jeremy and his shop and his knowledge and his tools and the amount of years, I mean, he's easily 20 plus mid, maybe years in Canberra, you know, of building vehicles, and not just the Integra. You know, he's had an S10 that he's built. He's built other things besides that, you know. So just his knowledge of everything, and me building something from the frame up for the very first time myself, you know, it was great to just take in all the knowledge from Jeremy, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I had, you know, David, and then I also had, like, you know, Ryan Frederick, who we call Cheese, that lives right around the block from us.
Right.
Cheese had actually stepped away for a little while, you know, from the club, and it just kind of, he got into a lot of hot rods and stuff like that. Well, man, he got bitten by the bug by passing bys, you know, and dude, he would stop in. He would just pick up a little bit of sandpaper, man, and start sanding and this and that. And before you knew it, man, Cheese was there like almost every weekend, you know, helping out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Ruben, you've been around a long time, and when you think about, you know, I think I've said this over the years on the podcast, that a lot of times if you look at a lot of these badass builds, whether it's, you know, something at the Grand National Roadster Show or something like what we're talking about with Chad, oftentimes it's a group collaboration. You know, not everybody, not all of us have the money to drop something off and just be like, boom, you know, do all this stuff. So to me, the camaraderie of hanging out with the homies, and to Chad's point, I don't think, Ruben, we don't, you know, that's one of the reasons why we started the podcast, like for someone like Chad to be able to give some props to some homies, because a lot of times we end up just like assuming that, hey, the homies know that we helped, and Ruben, you know, like over the years, like how much, you know, a club brother or someone, a fellow homie in the scene, how much it means to a build, right, Ruben?
Right. No kidding. You know what? And I personally, I'd love to have the money to, you know, write a check and here, build this for me.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's such an incredible feeling, and you know, just the memories, you know, of Chad with you and your friends, you know, out there doing this, and you know, I mean, those memories, I guess, are more valuable than being able to write a check, you know. And again, life experience, you know, that's something you're probably going to cherish for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things too, guys, that, you know, maybe I didn't touch on, but you know, I can remember like David DeCorver's first year of his show Sparks in the Park, and it was very, very shortly, like maybe a couple months after I had picked up this cab, and it was just sitting in Jeremy's shop. Man, I can remember being at David's first year show, right? And man, I get a text message from Jeremy. He's like, "Hey man, how's the show?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm just, you know, I brought the awards that I made for David, and you know, I'm hanging out just with all the camera guys, all the Severed guys, you know, Relaxed guys. Everybody was there, you know." And I was like, "Man, I'm just hanging out, you know." I said, "I think I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to, you know, work on the truck some, you know." And he's like, "Man, you know what?" He said, "Man, enjoy yourself tomorrow, man." He said, "I think I'm going to go to the shop and I might do a couple things to the truck." Well, then 20 minutes later, I get a, you know, text message from Pooh, Jared, who's in Severed Ties.
Yeah. And
Pooh says, man, he sends me a picture of him. They have completely like gutted and cleaned all the cab out. Like it had all the interior in the truck when I bought it in the cab. Mm-hmm. And man, they completely bagged and tagged everything and took the whole entire interior out and got it ready for me. Basically, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I think we sometimes miss that in the scene because we're all busy and you know, and we have careers on this. But to be able to make the time, like you kind of proved, although maybe the little bit of time away from your family, but like there's homies like Pooh and, you know, Jared that might go, "Hey man, I like doing this kind of stuff." You know, I mean, like me, I'm not a fabricator, but I like taking the interior stuff apart. So it's cool that you're kind of describing how a lot of people played the part in the build, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I like I said, Dave, man, he's, you know, I don't feel like I've ever given enough credits to some of these guys, you know, and I mean, man, without these guys, this truck would never be what it is, you know. And I remember, you know, even like on one of the, I want to say, I think it was like after Scraping the Coast, you know, I remember Mike saying, you know, like tip of the cap to Chad Loque, you know, because he, you know, winning best mini truck at Scraping the Coast, you know, and he's got a lot of his good friends that he should be thanking and this and that, you know, for building a badass truck. Well, you know, that's the thing, man. I was just so caught up, I guess, in the moment of going out, wanting to get the truck out the shows, like you had said earlier.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would just load the truck up like on a Thursday, you know, and then either peel out Thursday night or Friday morning by myself. Every show that I've been to, you know, whether it been Sparks show, you know, or, you know, wherever I have been with the truck all last year, I have always traveled by myself.
Yep.
You know, I never called, picked up the phone and asked anyone, hey, you guys want to come to the show or this and that, because my main concern was to just get the truck out there and let everyone see it, what it is, and such and such, you know? And I mean, had a blast, you know? And one of the things that kind of, you know, I felt like, man, I just didn't, like, I was always either in a, you know, I was in you guys' booth, or I was, you know, I was inside at this show. And so it really, really felt like home to me at Eastbound Get Down, which just passed a couple weeks ago, you know? To be able to be on that killer lineup, if you guys didn't see it, you know, with that Canberra lineup that we had, man, it was just like all the minis like on one side and like all the full sizes on one side. Man, it's just like, it was a killer lineup. And, you know, I even took a note from, you know, playing back the Ernie Macias, you know, OLP, when I want to say it might have been Brian Goop, you know. He had said something about, you know, Ernie was picky about that kind of stuff, like how they parked, you know, and how they parked at shows. Like, he wanted to park the minis and this and that. So, you know, I got together with Mike. I said, hey, Mike, I know this is your state, you know. I said, but, man, you know, it'd be cool. I said, man, I want to take a you know, a page out of Ernie's book, and I want to be able to park the minis all together. And I want to be able to park the full sizes all together, or maybe the dualies together, or maybe the full sizes here, or the SUVs here, or the cars here, and have them all like that, man. I said, because you know what? I think it really represents the different makes and the models, you know? So I remember that because, like I said, dude, I listen to you guys every week.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
we appreciate that.
And I take the notes of everything that I love listening to the OGs come on, man, and talk about the old days and such and such, you know? And as far as, you know, like, I listen to a couple other podcasts as well, you know, one of them, I think it's the two crazy guys up in the mountains over there.
CD there. We love those guys.
They're great. You know, and I haven't met those guys yet, but I'm going to tell you, man, I have been listening to those guys.
They're fun, right?
They're episode 50 when Justin Wyatt came on with that state of the scene. Man, I'm going to tell you, man, that really hit home to me.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it's a good episode,
and it's a very good episode. And what Justin said at the end of that episode, man, you know, about the state of the scene, about how being humble, you know, and such and such. And I appreciate the accolades with my truck and what it has become and what it has done and this and that. But now, like, I feel it's just time for me to just enjoy the truck. You know, and I know there's always somebody out there with a bigger checkbook than what I'll ever have, and someone's going to come out very, very soon, most likely, with a killer bill that's probably and this will eventually fade away, and I understand that, you know. But I just, me personally, I want to be as humble as possible and appreciate, you know, for what it is now, and just enjoy it. You know.
Oh, yeah. And Ruben, you've been around a lot of big builds. You know, you think back to rest in peace Sean Carlson, like with Woodrunner, and you think of the early days of Last Look and stuff, and then even Sean Dell's with Sideshow. But to me, the cool thing is that, you know, this truck, like you said, has had an amazing run so far. But the true, I think, iconic trucks, they last, you know, can't say forever because, you know, we haven't got to that point yet, but they last a very long time. And I think, Chad, like, you know, you're out the opportunity now where, like you said, you enjoy it some. But the good thing is, you know, like me, it's been 10 years this May since I debuted my truck, and I still get joy out of going, hey, you know, Big Body Custom Interiors did my interior, and Jimmy built this truck, and Josh painted it, and, you know, there's a lot of other guys, right? Ron Francis Wiring, they'll still reposting stuff, right? But that's the cool thing, because, you know, you have the mindset of the humbleness versus going around, you know, and being Mr. Cocky and being like, oh, man, I got the best shit. Because to your point, I mean, like, Mike Tyson was the greatest, and he got knocked out, you know? Right,
and it's the thing, Jay, like, you know, and you bring up your truck, and this is something that you're probably going to, you know, you probably heard like a million times, but you know what, you bring up your truck, and I love Bada Bing, you know? Man. And I'm going to tell you, I remember your debut with Bada Bing. Wow. Which I want to say was Showfest, whenever they had it at the casino up there in Tunica.
Oh.
So I remember your debut, man, and I remember drooling over your interior and the truck all as a general. And I'm like, man, this is some serious, like, badass work. It's serious, everything, dude. And I remember it quite well. Because, I mean, dude, I was a full-size guy. Like, I had full sizes, I started with my F-150, featured in sport truck. And then, I took it and body dropped it in my driveway, and, traditional body dropped it in my driveway, painted the wheels, redid the interior, did motor work. Took it out to scraping the coast for the first time, and boom, street trucks. Shoots it that weekend.
Boom.
So I just want to stay as humble as possible these days, man, and just enjoy my truck now. I feel like it's done everything that it could possibly do to me and more, and I just want to enjoy it. And I want to enjoy, especially being this year. Negative camera, 30 years. I'm very, very proud to be a part of that group, and I take a lot of pride in that little logo on my back glass, and I mean, dude, just to be a part of that and to be a part of the scene, man, it's great.
Yeah, there's nothing greater right now for us. And Ruben, like, when you think back to just all the iconic trucks, like you've had some cool stuff, right? I mean, you even had a truck that was on a cover that wasn't even featured in there, right? It was the wheel and tire guide, right? Some people forget about that truck. And, you've had some cool stuff, and you've been around a long time. I think, to me, like, from a brother, in the scene to Chad, I love, where his mindset is right now, right? And now a lot of that hard work's been done, and now it's like, you can sit back and you can enjoy a little bit, right, Ruben?
Right, and, most definitely, there's a lot of guys out there, and I think I'm guilty of it as well. You put a lot of time and effort and, money into something, and then you're almost, I'm not going to say scared, but very hesitant to enjoy it. And, the older that I'm getting, I mean, the full size that I'm building right now, I catch myself going backwards on what I wanted out of that truck at first. At first I wanted full frame, powder coated, and this and that, and then now I'm like, I want to be able to drive this. I want to be able to get in it, and if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and get caught in the rain, so be it. But it's like I said, we come a point in our time where it's like, I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm glad to see that you are driving that truck and you are enjoying it, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you guys, man, like, there's another guy that I don't. I basically we text or we talk every single day now, but the truck has not just, brought maybe joy to certain people or such and such or whatever, but, this truck has brought me closer to making new friendships with people, and I'm gonna say it, but Joey Whitby over there out there in Arizona, who has Relaxed Taco now, and he has taken care of that truck, so much. He's recently he's having some touch-ups done. Matt Hutchison, I think, is doing some touch-ups on the truck. He's repairing a couple things that from over the years, to keep the truck fresh. And, we talk iconic trucks a lot, and I mean, I can remember that truck, on the cover, and it's just flipping through the pages and being, man, that's a badass truck, Yeah. So I remember it. But Joey, of all guys, man, I'm gonna tell you, and he laughs with me all the time because he's like, man, I listen to the podcast.
He's a good.
And they're always talking about you, Chad. They're always talking about you all the time on the podcast. So you know what? It's time maybe to talk about Joey.
Oh yeah.
So Joey, man, I met Joey. So Joey actually had a crew cab. And it was just bagged, and he was driving it, and he was having a ball with it. I would always see him, on Facebook. Never really knew the guy. We might have messaged maybe one or two times, and then, when he bought Relaxed Taco, I knew he had that as well, but he still had the crew cab, and he was one of the guys I was actually taking cues from, like as I was building my truck, because he had a crew cab, full size bed. He had shaved the bed, but he had a couple of things done on his that I wanted to do a little differently, So I was just taking those cues from all of the crew cab guys that had the crew cab Tacomas, but Joey, man, what brought me and Joey together, and we actually have a really great friendship now. I mean, we talk every single day. We talk every single day on the phone. Yeah. We call each other either in the morning, in the evening, on the rides home from work. We text each other on the weekends. We call each other. It doesn't matter. And most of the time we don't even really talk about trucks. We talk about, like what, shows, or we talk about, man, it'd be cool for me to come down there. Or if I'm cooking, he sees me cooking or something. He's like, man, that looks good, man. I ought to fly and then come get some of that, So it's just, but Joey, man, we connected when, Greg Miller, rest in peace, put us on the Scraping shirt together. And man, he sent me a message and he says, man, it's an honor to be on the shirt with you, and I was like, no, dude, it's really an honor to be on the shirt with you. You have the iconic truck, man, that is badass. And, I can't wait to see it. Never seen it in person, only seen it in the pages. Can't wait to see it. And it blew me away, man, because the truck is very, very clean, and it's had its age, and it's had its little nicks and here and there. But I kept telling Joey, because he was aggravated about all the little things that were wrong. And I said, Joey, you got to let those kind of things go, because this thing has held up well for the years that it has been built.
Right.
I said, it's still an attention grabber, no matter what,
Yeah.
Another one of the guys, man, Tom Jenkins.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I just saw him, as at Eastbound Get Down. He was there.
Yes. So, Tom, man, met Tom when we were going to Slam Fest for the very first time. He brings out Far From Losing. All right. Joey had kind of clued me in. I knew what was going on. I knew Tom had bought the truck. And I'm heading down to Eastbound Get Down. I'm loading up actually that Thursday morning, trying to get out of Dodge because the weather's going to get bad. I didn't want to leave Thursday night, or I didn't want to leave Friday morning and catch the weather, So I'm trying to get out of Dodge. Well, lo and behold, Tom is hotshotting, doing a job. He's already down there in Daytona. He's like, man, I said, dude, why don't you just get a room at my hotel tonight, and I'm going to stay with you. He goes, oh, you coming up tonight? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll come up tonight. I'll come up today, and I'll stay there tonight. And then he's like, man, I want to check out the show. I said, well, Tom, I got the room Friday night and Saturday night. Why don't you just stay with me? Man, he ended up coming to our little Camber little dinner that we had at Ricky May's house. Man, he hung out with us all weekend. We had a blast. Tom is a very good dude. And man, he's got some trucks in his posse over there, I guess you want to call it, man, of a shop. He's really got some trucks going on. And I Joey, Tom, love the guys, really good guys. Can't say enough about them.
Yeah, they're good people. And Ruben, what was cool is in Florida, I'm walking at EBGD and I see Tom walking and I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? Right. So we start talking and we had a good, 15, 20-minute conversation. And we talked, Joey came up, or his name came up. And Joey, of course, having Relaxed Taco, this June's going to be the 15th anniversary of it being shot, rest in peace, Eric Coleman, right? But Joey has been a great guy to be the curator of that truck. He's a huge supporter. And like Tom speaks so highly as well of Joey, of just saying, hey, man, this dude, he truly loves what you guys are doing. And, I told him, I said, I don't think, Chad, you may not have been there, and maybe you were kind of floating around, but at the Mini Truck Hall of Fame this year, right? So, Ruben, you were there. Joey had a smile from ear to ear when Georgia sat in the Tacoma, and we were joking. We said, "I bet you he's never going to wash that seat again," And Joey, Joey, he just kind of has that smile, But some people, I think, just to comment on this briefly, I do think some people sometimes get a bad rap for like, oh, well, they just bought a truck and this and that, but you got to remember, I would tell the listeners that if some guys couldn't sell a truck, then another truck can't come behind it to be built, right? It's the same thing. Someone was telling me recently, they were like, oh, well, so-and-so just, they just paid and they had their truck built. And it's like, yeah, but you can't, not everyone, I surely can't build a truck at my house, right? So it's kind of the makeup of the scene is, there's all different scenarios, right? It's Chad with the homies and the brothers making stuff happen. But sometimes, it doesn't always work that way. It depends on the person. So, definitely some good conversation out of that. Because like I said, Chad, you clearly have built some good relationships from it. And Ruben, the relationship word, right? That's important. Right. You know how important that is from a scene standpoint.
Right. And, this about Joey. I met Joey, oh, God, I was in Arizona still. And I met him I was invited to a barbecue. AZ Dimes barbecue and for Memorial Day, and that was the first time I ever met him. Really nice guy, and what he's done with that truck and stuff. I remember when Farmer was building that truck, and on top of that, when I was living out in Cave Creek a few years back, I would see Farmer's dad drive that on the street like everywhere. So to your point, for for that truck to have been built back then, driven, and survived as well as it did, and then you get someone like Joey that actually cares about it and wants to preserve it, and then, we've seen Josh Ellis do that. And, and other individuals that have bought these trucks. Yeah. And, for someone to come in and buy a truck and, I guess, preserve it and care for it. Because, I'll be honest with you, both of my Toyotas were sold. And, the extra cab went to Japan, and the Toyota, the white truck, went to some kid, in Orange County. And
thrashed, probably.
I will tell you right now, they look nothing like they did the day I sold them.
Right,
you got to give these guys props. And, he bought that thing and stuff. Yeah, he could have bought it and just drove the shit out of it. No, but he's preserving it and maintaining it and fixing things that are wrong with it. And I find nothing wrong with those guys taking them and putting modern touches on them, but yet not taking away from them. And again, dude, I appreciate that. I appreciate that about our scene.
Yeah, and Tom, just to be clear, like, for instance, like when Tom and I were talking, right, like you said, Chad, with him having far from losing, right, one of the most baddest trucks, but hardly anybody had ever seen it. So it's one thing to be like, oh, well, it must be nice to have this cool truck. Then you go, well, hold on. Whose fuel is it? Whose time is it? I'm getting to the show early to get this thing up on wheel stands and things like that. All of that stuff. I've been doing this a long time too, and it's like the last thing I want to do is get to a show and go, well, damn, okay, now we got to jack this thing up, wheel stands, this and that. Josh did it a little bit with Looked at Kills as well, but yeah, just getting back to it. Chad, to me, it's been an amazing run, and when we talk about kind of the legacy of a particular build, today we're doing our principal audio, and the news broke that it's going to be on the cover of All Time magazine, the 29th issue. And it's got to be a good feeling, right? Just to, even though there's not a lot of magazines anymore, you kind of start to feel like, wow, okay, now it's going to be etched in, in print.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, Jay, I don't think I was ever going to build something that was ever going to be on a cover of a magazine.
Hell
right. I've built a ton of trucks. They were all nice. Several of them been featured either once, twice, one even 3 times, one was shot twice, never even ran, but to build something, man, and to get, that spot, man, that cover spot, like that is unreal to me. Man, when that dropped yesterday, man, my heart has been like, I've been like, man, this is just not real to me. I've pinched myself several times and said, this is just amazing, that me and my homies, my brothers from the club, we built something from nothing in a little video shop with hardly any no fancy tools, really, a welder, a grinder, some cutoff wheels, and, a Sawzall.
Elbow grease, determination, those kind of sprinkled in.
Right. And man, and when that dropped, man, I took that picture and I sent it to Jeremy, and I said, man, I love you and I can't thank you enough, but man, you helped me make a dream come true.
Dude.
Yeah. It's been something that I've always wanted for a long time, and even like I was telling you before SEMA, how I was losing that touch with the truck because I felt that the truck was out there and it was really, really doing well, like you say, it was on a tear, right? It was dominating at the show scene, on the show scene. It was winning this, winning that, it was doing really, really well, man, but I was losing that touch. Like, man, if it's doing this well, like, man, is it ever going to somebody ever going to shoot it or is it ever going to be in a magazine, you think maybe or something? So I think that's what my problem was. I was really, really getting disconnected from the truck because I felt like, it was getting the exposure at shows, but it wasn't getting the exposure, catching the right eye, I guess you want to call it,
Yeah.
And another person, like I said, and even with the single cab and funny story, and I don't want to take up a lot of you guys' time or whatever, but a funny story is, with the single cab last year at Sicknick, Michelle Boone with All Time Low.
Yep.
She shoots the single cab along with Jeremy's rodeo at the same exact time.
Really?
At Sicknick that year, right? She shoots it. she calls me, or she sends me a message like 2 weeks later. She says, hey, I got the text sheet. You know, I got to send it to you. What's your email? I said, no email required. I said, you don't need to send it to me. And she says, huh? I said, you can send it to Jeremy. I said, because I'd really like him to get in the magazine. You know, magazine. I don't want I don't want you to run the single cab. And she thought it was crazy.
Huh.
She really, really thought it was crazy. She goes, what? I said, yeah, I don't really want you to run the single cab. And at this time, I mean, I already knew I had the double cab, right? So I didn't want to run the single cab because I already felt that it had been featured twice before.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want it to be where it was just like going to go into another feature and, you know, or this and that. So what I told Michelle was I said, hey, don't run it. Please don't run it. I'm asking you, I'm begging you, pleading you, don't run it. I have something up my sleeve. And she goes, huh? And her ears perked. You know, I could see it. Like all the way from here to Tennessee, I could see those ears probably perked. She's like, huh? So we talked out like the next show, I think it was, when I'd seen her, and I told her what the plan was. I said, hey, I'm rebuilding my truck, you know, and I kind of gave her a little insight. I said, hey, you know, it's going to have 2 more doors on it, you know, and she caught on, you know. And I said, can you please keep that just between me and you? And I said, when it's done, I will give you first shot at the truck.
Nice.
I will guarantee you first shot at the truck when it's done. I promise you I won't disappoint you.
Yep.
And she said, okay. And I never showed her pictures, never did anything except for maybe couple little snippets here and there of like, hey, this is what we did with the cab corner right here, or, you know, this is what we did inside the bed. But
right.
Never would show her what the truck was. And man, you know, hats off to her, Michelle and Dustin, because at Mini Nats, of course, I had some problems with the truck that Saturday night. You know, lo and behold, we powder coated the alternator bracket and wasn't making a good ground.
Yeah.
So
I've
I
had that
lost all
happen to
battery
me.
power.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I lost all power, you know, in the truck, and I only had enough power maybe to just air it up one more time, get it on the trailer Sunday, and peel out of town. You know, so. She already had the shoot set up for that Sunday, and I had to tell her. She was staying in the cabin with me and David, and I had to tell her. I said, "Hey, the truck is absolutely dead. There's no way we get the shoot done." You know, and then we tried at scraping. We caught rain right after scraping, of course, and you know it got dark, and then you know we tried at Spark Show, and then it had started pouring down raining. So you know, there's a running joke with the truck that you know the truck's real bougie. It doesn't like rain, or it doesn't like you know cameras.
It's the
Cameras,
rainmaker.
Yeah, so it's the rainmaker, and I mean, look, I went to Eastbound Get Down. It brought cold weather, and it brought a little rain in. That's you know.
Yeah,
that Friday,
USOB.
so.
That it was you. I was blaming it on the Northerners from Tennessee. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So Michelle and everybody, it was just a big running joke for a while. Like, hey, your truck's bougie. It doesn't like cameras. You know, it doesn't like rain. Oh, it doesn't like sunshine. It likes rain. You know, everywhere you go. But lo and behold, you know, I got back from SEMA, and I told Michelle, I said, "Are you coming down for Sean Randall's show, Bayou Showdown?" And I said, "I'm gonna take the truck there." You know, and she says, "Tell you what, I'm gonna drive to your house Friday morning.
Boom.
We're gonna shoot this." The original plan was to put the truck on a skate park because it ties into my roots of being a skater. I still skate today. That was the original plan all along, is what Michelle had originally wanted. We could just never find that perfect location. Even when we were in Tampa, you know, at Slamfest, I called up Skate Park at Tampa and asked them, and they were like, "Man, if we wouldn't have just redid the course, you'd be more than game to put it on the course."
Right.
You know,
right.
to shoot it inside there.
They just
They were doing the Tampa Pro the next weekend, and I was like, "Man, this sucks," you know.
Yeah.
So finally, the stars aligned, and Michelle and Dustin actually drove up to my house. They passed up Slidell, of course, you know, Bayou Showdown, and it came straight to my house. We drove it over to the skate park. I pulled it on the skate park. There was kids skating. I was like, "Excuse me, y'all got to stop skating. we want to shoot this truck real quick." We had the cops called on us.
No.
Someone reported that I was trying to take my truck and go up the ramps on the skate park and stuff.
That's a
yeah. It was pretty funny, man. It was really pretty funny.
Dude, you're taking minis on the rise to the next level, dude. I mean,
exactly, dude. Like 50-50
Literally.
on the rail, you know. I mean, dude, it's like, dude, I was grinding all down that shit, you know.
That's
so,
awesome.
but yeah, dude. So the stars aligned, like you would say, you know, and everything was perfect that day. The weather couldn't have been better. The sun was out, no rain. I mean, it was a beautiful day. And Michelle said, "You know what? It's what the truck always wanted." You know, it just wanted to be on the skate park. It wanted to be shot on the skate park. You know, it wanted to go to that original plan, you know. So lo and behold, and that's where you are seeing the cover shot. When you do see the cover shot, it's at the local skate park right down the road from my house, that I was involved in, with actually moving from one location to the next, going to city meetings and stuff like that to get it moved. And it was pretty cool because the park was just recently opened, not even a couple months back. And man, I got to shoot my truck on a park that I helped relocate, you know.
Nice.
Dude.
So.
Dude, that was so awesome. Yeah, and Ruben, it's cool to link up with Chad because, you know, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, when it's fresh, you know, some of the stories don't really get a chance to come out. And I always remember talking to Mitch Rawle back in the day, and, you know, Mitch was still one of my good friends. I know his birthday was just the other day. You know, he talked about having to run with his old Dodge truck, and, you know, he was rebuilding it and things like that. And he goes, you know, the first year it's all show. You know, it's you go to the shows, you get the, you know, you get the accolades, and he goes, kind of that next year, and he goes, man, I might drag it a little bit, you know, I'm not be a little bit more loose with it. And that feeling is good, you know, although we may still polish our wheels and do certain things, just the feeling of like, hey, like I got through that initial year, you know, the truck got the accolades. And the other thing that I would say that's different for folks now when they finish their truck, that's even different from when I finished mine 10 years ago. And Chad, you hit on this, and Ruben, you know, you have the connection to the old school magazines with Shartsys and stuff. The magazines aren't as prominent as they once were. You know, before you had Truckin, Sport Truck, oh, by the way, Street Trucks, you know, Mini Truckin, you know, a couple smaller ones, things like this. Nowadays, you don't have as much exposure. So what happens is, like, even when I finished my truck, I was like, damn, dude, I don't think it's going to get shot. And then, you know, Kent was nice enough to shoot it, and boom, it goes on Common Treads, and there was some stuff there, and then it's like, oh, by the way, well, Mini Trucker wants to shoot it now, finally, and then, you know, for my truck to be on the cover, and then the magazine goes away, you know, a year and a half-ish, whatever, later, it's just, you don't have as much opportunity, Ruben, and you know, like, from your truck exposure that you've had with Tailgate and Mini Trucking and stuff, it's, you can never be, you know, you got to be humble about that, because, again, you don't always have those opportunities, right, Ruben?
No, right, and you know, it's the world's a different day to day with, you know, the internet, you know, for one, and you know, all the magazines are gone, and most guys that are building stuff, I mean, they got an Instagram page for their build, and you know, it takes that awe factor away from when the trucks debuted, and you know, and I think you did a great job, Chad, of kind of hiding all that, you know, and letting us see the finished product, you know, boom, in our face, instead of, oh yeah, I saw that thing being built, you know, and I'm a little guilty of that too, and you know, and like I said, it's just the world's a different day and today, and you know, magazines are gone, and you know, we do have, you know, common threads and stuff, and you know, some of the online stuff, but it's just just a different day and time now.
Yeah, and when you were talking earlier, Chad, I was thinking of the Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock song. We were talking about, you know, the rain and so I'm thinking Joy and Pain, you know, remember that jam, dude.
Right, right. Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I guess, like, in kind of closing, right? I mean, you know, you said a lot of great stuff, and you know, I'm proud of you as a brother, you know, seeing all the stuff you do with the bead rolling, and you know, obviously, you know, you got that great connection with, you know, Sean Rose, and you know, you guys dabble in very similar stuff, but you guys get along so well, and you know, Sean just had, you know, a great run as one of our contributors of the year to our scene, which I know that, you know, you even appreciate that for how much good that's done out there. But I guess kind of in closing, you know, any other thoughts or comments, Chad?
You know, Jay, I'll keep it as simple as possible, man. Like I said, I was glad to come on, man. I was glad to come on and say how, you know, appreciative I was of, you know, my brothers that helped me with the truck, and, you know, it wouldn't be what it is today, you know, without those guys. And I mean, in closing, you know, I guess the main thing with me is I want to go out to shows this year, and I just want to kick back. I want to enjoy, you know, I want to get a couple rock chips maybe on the front valence, you know, but I want to enjoy the truck, you know, and I'm not going to stop maybe keeping, you know, caring for the truck, or let it go downhill or such and such or whatever, because I really think that I built something special, you know, something that Toyota never really even dreamed of maybe probably putting on an assembly line,
Yeah.
So I really think I have something special, and I'm not going to quit caring for it, I guess you want to call it, but I also want to enjoy what I spent my hard-earned money for, or what I killed myself for 9 or 10 months in the shop, behind a welding hood, welding on, and I just want to have fun with the truck. And I don't feel like, even the first couple shows I went to that I really had fun because I was nervous. I would come home, my wife's like, you don't have any fingernails left, you bit your fingernails off, like all weekend,
Right.
and I'm like, yeah, because I was nervous about how the truck would present itself or how this such and such was. And like I tell everybody, I wipe this truck every single week, maybe twice a week. I'll come in the garage and I'll give it a quick wipe down, just to keep it clean in case something happens, like, what happened maybe Sunday, in case you didn't catch that, but, it's good. It's a good thing, but, I'm going to preserve the truck still, keep the truck clean, represent for my club for one, because that's what we are known for. That's what I've always known Negative Camber to be, to have some of the best out there or the best out there, so I want to represent my club. I want to represent the scene. And most of all, I want to stay humble, and I want to have fun. That's the thing.
Grind hard, stay humble. Exactly. And I guess my last thought is I'm trying to get Mike. I mean, I know I don't want you to get offended. I'm trying to get Mike to get a crew cab coming from Australia. I go, Mike, dude, you got to stop, not hustling on your truck, man. I said, Chad's running circles. You had, Josh, you had Miller down here in Florida do the crew cab conversion. Dude, crew cabs are on the rise, right, Chad?
Yeah, they are, dude. Crew cabs are definitely on the rise. I've actually seen a couple snippets, here and there. I want to say that I think there's like maybe one or two more that are being built at this time right now.
Yeah.
I told Mike, and not just Toyota, but like I think I've seen a Mazda, and what else would it have been? It was a Mazda, and someone was doing.
I always liked the Toyota from
maybe
the
Isuzu.
Nuys
I think it was.
Oh yeah. That was the one that Matt from Florida got his hands on from, I think, Schulman. He had one, and then Matt got it. And I think Matt punted it, but I always liked the I think it was a crew cab, the yellow one that's in Japan, which obviously a little different there, but the Mooneyes one, the dually.
Yes, the dually one.
The dually, I've always loved that.
Yeah, and I told Mike, take that truck.
That
take that truck and make it a Mazda. Like Mike needs a long bed, Phantom or whatever dually, crew cab, dude, sunroof, full graphics, like 3D, dude, like where you got to put glasses on. I go, Mike, you got to step up, dude. Banana hammock's losing out.
So what we need to do is we need to get Banana Hammock maybe like on a trailer. Maybe we need to take it down to Jeremy's shop.
Right,
we can make that happen really quick.
Dude, Jeremy's he's listening right now going, those SOBs are giving me more work. No, but Mike comped out. He comped out because, at EBGD, I was like, hey, man, I said, Mike, dude, you need to be doing this. He's just shaking his head. He goes, dude, I'm out, man. I'm out. But, congrats to Mike because, he got patched in Aftermath and, their long history, of course, here in Florida. And they've grown. Yeah, they built some of the baddest full sizes over the years. And it's cool because that, a lot of that come from Florida. So, with Rico and whatnot. But Ruben, man, listen, let me ask you this. Any last words that you have before we wrap it?
No, man, I guess 2022 is the movement is there for the crew cabs, I guess,
Dude,
call it.
Dude, crew cab minis. I always wanted to have a crew cab S10. I love those. And then the guys put the regular side bed, and I think there's the one, believe it or not, I think it was back when one of the first times I met you up at Laid Out the Park, the guy had it there. And that truck has got like a V8, that blue one, I think it is. But, dude, yeah. I love seeing those. But, Chad, it was cool. You're welcome anytime, and the humbleness that you got, the hustle. Next time we could talk more about. I want to get more into the skateboarding stuff, some of the stuff you've been doing. But, dude, it's always a pleasure, man. Tip of the cap to NC, of course. ST, we're also celebrating our 30th, and then RA Ruben and the crew, they did theirs last year. So we got to keep the scene going, and I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, Jay, so, I got one more thing.
Oh, shit.
Man, and I don't want to take you guys' time.
Yeah,
but
no problem.
If possible, man, if we can maybe send maybe like a little prayer group, man, out right now.
Sure.
And so what we do have, man, is we have a Negative Camber member that is actually kind of on the downfall right now over there in San Antonio, Texas. Ronnie Palacio, I think his name is what they is. Maybe I'm butchering his last name. So I've actually talked to Ronnie maybe once or twice on the phone. Mm-hmm. Ronnie actually helps me get this cab on the trailer at Mark's house because he wasn't too far away. But he's patched in. He's tied into Vintage Air. So and Ronnie's a Canberra member, man. But he just some prayers out there, man, if possible, because, we got some bad news on our private page, Canberra page or whatever, from Lonnie over there with LST. He had posted that Ronnie is, he's going through, he's going through some bad stuff right now, and it's not looking good from the messages that we've been seeing, like back and forth from his wife. So, but yeah, man, major prayers to him and his wife, Perla, I think her name is, and his 2 kids, man, because man, we have been losing so many people in the scene lately, dude. And I mean, it's been hitting really, really close. And it seems like it's getting closer and closer to home,
I know.
So, but yeah, I just really want to send prayers out, man, to Ronnie and his family, man, right now, because it's really not good. So, I mean, like I said, it could be, it's really, his health is declining. So, but yeah, man, prayers out to him for sure. And like I said, man, if I hear anything, I will let you know. That way you can let the listeners know, man.
Yeah, for sure. Because this one will be out next Friday, and it's no problem, and we'll do that. And we recently did that. Last thing I'll say is with Phil Fowler. Phil was not feeling well, and I caught wind of it, and I texted him, and he said, man, he really appreciated it. And I think we all have to do that sometimes because we don't want to wait until something tragic and the person's no longer here. We can, people go, well, hey, they passed on. Like, if someone's going through some stuff, let's put it out there and let's give them the good vibes now, So thank you for bringing that up.
And like I said, Jay, I will get you the info and stuff on that, man, and so you can maybe follow along and see, because he's patched in, he to a lot of networks and stuff with people, and there's so many different people. I think I seen Kurt Hall's wife Leanne post something the other day, Kurt as well, because they're really close and stuff, but yeah, man, good dude. Like I said, man, prayers out to him and his family.
Yeah, real talk, man. And salute to all the NC members out there. We get a lot of love for them. We get a lot of love from them. So thank you so much. And Chad, appreciate you sitting down. And Ruben, you always know, we appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, man. And Chad, thank you so much. And I'm glad. I'm sorry that this took a little time to happen, but I'm glad we finally got it nailed down.
Well, Ruben, look, man, you got my number. Anytime you feel like talking, man, I'm always available. Give me a holler.
Oh, for sure, buddy. For sure. You know it, man. And you know what? I can't wait to meet up with you again and buy you a couple of drinks.
Watch out.
Oh, that could be a bad thing.
Not that I approve this. Be careful. Not that I approve this, but Ruben, he might like the date rape drug. You know what I mean? So just be careful. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Crown Apple and Diet Coke, man. Crown Apple and Diet Coke. You know me.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Well, you guys get
7-7 over here, man.
You guys get some food. We'll stay in touch. I can't wait to see you guys real soon, y'all. Maybe at LST. We'll see y'all.
For sure.
All right, Jay.
Hey, thank you guys so much, y'all. I appreciate it.
I tried to turn the propane on, and when I pulled the drawer out to get to the propane tank, the damn thing came off the damn tank, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh,
so, anyways,
God.
Yeah.
That's
so I was out there
crazy.
trying to replace the hose, and then I realized that I got the wrong one, and so I got to get a different.
Well, you could look at it as a bad day, or you could be like, "Yo, I got hoses in different area codes, and you're a regulator, so you think regulators mount up."
Dude, that's the only way to do it, right there.
Dude,
mount up,
regulators. And Warren G, he's been hinting on 213, which is 213, which was the group that him and Nate Dogg and Snoop were in. They're going to be dropping something on 213 Day. Dude,
ooh.
I think the West is back, bro, because they're going to be bringing it at the Super Bowl. Dude, it's going to be great, bro.
So what might that be now?
Well, just Snoop and Dre and all those guys, but I think Warren G's gonna drop a new single. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, dog.
Hey, now that's big news right there.
Oh yeah.
I got hose.
Hoses.
I got hose.
Make it hoses because
hose.
then you can remix it. I got hoses, and then you get you get Dusty in the background. He's like, when you say got hoses, he's like gas hoses in different area codes is. You know what I mean? I mean, I think you got to get Dusty to sing kind of the hook, the background, vocals, and then Kim comes in and she's like hoses, and then Shannon's like in different area codes is something like that, dude.
Bro, you're insane.
Dude.
You're insane.
In the membrane.
You're too much.
Dude, that's almost the wrestling deal you need. You're like, hey, brother, this podcast the last 6.5 years, I don't know if I got it anymore. I might have to throw this out the tiz out is in, but only if they can figure it out the kids, honey.
Oh, gosh.
But
you are too much.
Let's knock this motherfucker out, dog. Are you ready?
Knock this motherfucker out.
Dude, it's fucking Super Bowl week, dude. This motherfucker out. That's what Hank sings when he strolls into town on a Friday night. He's like, dude, he's itching for a fucking bar fight.
Oh, bar fight.
Dude, he kicks the motorcycles over. Then he fucking kicks the dude. Yeah, exactly. And if you don't kick the fucking saloon doors in on a Friday night, you're not, dude. I don't even know. Did you ever watch the Pat Swayze? We talked about it. The '89 movie he was in, where he was a badass.
Yeah, Roadhouse.
Yeah, man, dude, that's the fucking dude. When you grow up, I say you gotta if you can grow up and yearn to be Pat Swayze in that movie, dude, your life is fucking complete, dude.
Bro, don't let your babies grow up to be cowgirls.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God.
Let's knock this bitch out because this is good content. I should have hit record already.
Yeah, exactly.